I got accepted into the university, I said, holding out the letter like it meant something. Mom didn't even look up from slicing fruit. That's nice, dear. Could you help Lily pick her dress for the party later? My throat tightened. I just thought you'd be happy. I am, she said, smiling faintly. But you know how easily Lily gets nervous before social events. Be a good sister. Lily strolled in, humming, wearing one of my shirts. You're not still bragging about that college thing, are you? It's not bragging, I muttered. She smirked. You act like getting in was hard. Dad entered with his phone pressed to his ear. We'll need to leave in 20. Lily, be ready. You look stunning already. He glanced at me briefly, then looked away. And good job, kiddo. Kiddo, always kiddo. Never his pride. At tea dinner that night, the spotlight was on Lily again. Her makeup, her charm, her voice filling every space I tried to breathe in. She got a modeling offer. Mom announced proudly. I smiled politely. That's great. Dad laughed. Our little star. You always shine. Lily looked at me, lips curling. What about you, sis? Still doing those boring research projects? Yeah, I said, keeping my voice calm. Someone has to do the boring stuff. They laughed, even Dad. My chest ached, but I swallowed the sound that tried to escape my throat. After dinner, I washed dishes while Lily sang in her room. Mom passed by, humming the same tune. You should smile more, she said softly. People notice when you frown. I wasn't frowning. I whispered, you always look tired. Maybe because I was. That night, I sat by my window, staring at the streetlights. I could hear their laughter from the living room. Lily telling stories. My parents responding like she was the sun. I was the quiet orbit no one noticed. When my phone buzzed, I snatched it up, hoping it was someone who cared. A text from Ethan blinked. Proud of you. You deserve this. My heart fluttered. Finally, someone saw me. Lily peeked into my room. Who are you texting? Just a friend. Must be nice, she teased. Having someone actually care. I forced a laugh. Yeah, must be. She left, the scent of her perfume lingering like a reminder of everything I wasn't. I looked at my reflection in the glass, tired eyes. Quiet smile, the kind of face that disappears in a crowd. Maybe being invisible wasn't so bad. No one expected anything from someone they couldn't see, but deep down, a whisper formed, one I didn't yet understand. One day, they'll look at me, and they won't be able to look away. I've never met someone who listens like you do, Ethan said, leaning across the caf table. His eyes held mine, calm but curious. I laughed softly. Most people just talk. Listening's easier. He grinned. Easier? Maybe, but rare. You make people feel understood. That word sank into me like sunlight. Understood? No one had ever said that before. We met again the next week, and the next. Why are you always helping everyone else? He asked one evening as we walked by the river. Don't you ever get tired? Sometimes, I admitted. But if I stop, no one else will pick up the pieces. He stopped walking. Then maybe it's time someone helped you. I didn't know how to respond. My throat tightened, and for once, I looked away. No one ever has. Well, he said, smiling gently, you do now. Those words wrapped around me like a promise. When I brought him home to meet my family, Mom practically glowed. Oh, you're Ethan, the one our Lily keeps talking about. Lily laughed lightly. I just said he seemed nice. Ethan smiled politely. I'm actually here for your sister. My chest fluttered. For once, I wasn't standing in Lily's shadow. Dad shook his hand firmly. Good man. Finally, someone who appreciates her. I couldn't stop smiling. It felt unreal, like being chosen after years of being overlooked. Over dinner, Ethan asked me about my work, my goals, my hobbies, things no one else had ever asked. So you paint? He said. That's incredible. I shrugged. I used to. Gave it up when things got busy. You should start again, he said. You have the kind of soul that needs color. The way he said it made me believe it was true. Later, when Mom called Lily into the kitchen, Ethan leaned closer. Your family loves you. But they don't see you, do they? My breath caught. How did you? I've watched you, he said softly. You fade when they talk. You shrink when you should shine. Something inside me cracked open. I'm trying not to care, I whispered. Then stop trying, he replied. You deserve more than scraps. When he left that night, I stood by the window watching his car disappear into the dark. For the first time, I felt something new, hope mixed with fear. The next day, Mom said, He's charming, polite. Maybe he'll teach you to smile more. Lily smirked. He's too good for you. I smiled faintly. We'll see. That night, Ethan texted me. You make the world quieter. I stared at the screen. My chest warmed. No one had ever said anything like that to me. Maybe he really did see me. Maybe this was the beginning of something different. But I didn't know that. Beginnings often hide endings. And that every sweet word would one day taste like regret. Ethan's coming over again? Lily asked, pretending not to care while fixing her hair in the hallway mirror. Yeah, I said, buttoning my blouse. We're working on something for his project. She grinned. You mean studying, right? Because he looks at you like he's doing more than that. I laughed softly. He's just kind and handsome, she said, turning to me. If you ever get bored, send him my way. My smile faltered. You have enough admirers already. Lily shrugged. What can I say? People like me. When Ethan arrived, she greeted him first. Ethan, you look even better than last time. He chuckled awkwardly. Thanks, Lily. I stepped beside her. Come on, let's go. We'll be in the study room. As we walked away, I felt her gaze linger on us. Or maybe just on him. Inside, Ethan set his papers down. Your sister's confident. That's one word for it. He smiled faintly. She's a lot like my cousin. Thinks the world revolves around her. Sometimes, I said, trying to sound casual. I think it actually does. He laughed. And the sound made my chest flutter again. For a while, we worked quietly until Lily's voice echoed from the kitchen. Ethan, do you want some lemonade? Before I could answer, he called back. Sure, thank you. I forced a small smile. She doesn't need much encouragement. He looked at me carefully. You sound jealous. I'm not. I lied quickly. She's my sister. He didn't reply, but his lips curved in a knowing way that made me uncomfortable. When Lily entered, she placed his glass down with unnecessary sweetness. Here you go. Careful, it's cold. He thanked her. She stayed, talking, laughing, like I wasn't even in the room. Lily, I said after a few minutes, we're kind of busy. Oh, right, she said with a sly grin. Didn't mean to interrupt your project. When she finally left, Ethan sighed. She's a lot. She's always been that way, I murmured. She gets what she wants. And what if she wanted something that's already taken? My stomach tightened. Then she'd still try. He watched me for a moment, expression unreadable. You sound like you've been through this before, every day, I said softly. Later, as he packed his bag, Lily appeared again, twirling a strand of hair. Leaving so soon? You should stay for dinner. Ethan smiled politely. Maybe next time. Promise? She teased. He hesitated before nodding. Sure. I looked away. Something inside me shifted, small but sharp. After he left, Lily leaned against my doorframe. He likes you, she said, voice playful. But he looks at me. I froze. You're imagining things. Am I? She whispered. When she walked away, I stood there in silence, the air heavy with something I didn't want to name. And for the first time, I was afraid of my own sister. Cleaned up the kitchen. His phone buzzed on the counter. I didn't mean to look, but my name flashed on the lock screen then disappeared, replaced by another, Lily. Curiosity burned through hesitation. I opened the message. I can't stop thinking about you. My heart skipped. Then another came, above it. You should have been mine first. And his reply, sitting there like a knife waiting for me to pick it up. I wish it were you I was marrying. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened. My hands trembled. The phone slipped, clattering against the counter. Ethan turned, startled. Everything okay? I looked at him, eyes stinging. Did you mean it? He froze. What? The message, I said, holding up his phone. You wish it were her you were marrying? His face paled. You shouldn't have. Don't you dare say I shouldn't have looked. I snapped. Say it. Tell me it's not true. He opened his mouth, then shut it again. Silence said what he couldn't. My throat burned. How long? Nothing happened, he said quickly. It's just she got close. I didn't mean for it. Don't lie to me. Footsteps approached. Lily appeared in the doorway, wearing her perfect, careless smile. What's going on? I turned to her, shaking. You tell me. Her gaze flicked to Ethan's phone. For a moment, guilt crossed her face, then vanished. You looked through his messages? You flirted with my fiancé? I didn't mean stop lying. I whispered. Ethan reached for me. It's not what you think, then what is it, Ethan? My voice cracked. Because it looks like my sister wants you, and you're too weak to push her away. Lily crossed her arms. You always act like you're perfect. Maybe he just got tired of your attitude. I stared at her, disbelief flooding every inch of me. You're my sister. She smiled faintly. And he came to me anyway. My knees almost gave out. You're proud of that? Dad's voice thundered from the hallway. What's all this yelling? Mom appeared behind him, frowning. It's late. What happened? I turned to them, shaking. Ethan and Lily, she's been texting him. He told her he wished he was marrying her. Mom's face tightened, but not in the way I expected. Oh, sweetheart, don't make a scene. Don't what? She's your sister, Mom said softly. She's young, she makes mistakes. She's not a child. I shouted. She betrayed me. Lily's eyes glistened, voice trembling just enough to sound innocent. I didn't mean to hurt her. Ethan was kind, and Dad sighed. It's probably nothing serious. You're both overreacting. Overreacting? I whispered. You think this is nothing? Ethan reached for my hand. Please, don't tell them everything. It'll destroy. I jerked away. You already destroyed it. Mom rubbed her temple. Can't you just forgive her? The engagement's tomorrow. Don't ruin it over a few texts. I stopped myself before screaming. You'd still go through with it? Dad's tone hardened. This family doesn't need drama. Handle it privately. I looked at them, my parents, my sister, the man I loved, and felt something break inside me. I whispered, you all deserve each other. And before anyone could speak, I walked out the door. The ring still burning in my palm, like proof that love in this house had always been a lie. Are you really doing this? Dad's voice echoed through the hallway. Walking out like a child? I'm not walking out, I said, gripping my small suitcase. I'm leaving what's already broken. Mom crossed her arms. You're being dramatic. Families argue. This isn't an argument, I whispered. It's betrayal. Lily stood behind them, eyes red but dry. You don't have to go, she said softly. I looked at her, my chest hollow. You made sure I had to. Dad slammed his hand on the table. Enough. You're tearing this family apart. No, I said. You tore it apart when you asked me to pretend it was whole. Mom's voice shook with anger. You always make yourself the victim. You're selfish, ungrateful. I laughed bitterly. Ungrateful for what? Being ignored? Being replaced? Watch your tone, Dad snapped. I'm done watching everything, I said, pushing past them. Especially you pretending this is love. Lily's voice cracked. Please don't hate me. I paused at the doorway. I don't hate you. I just finally see you. Her lips parted, but no words came out. I didn't wait for any. The cold air outside stung my face as I stepped onto the street. My heart pounded like it was trying to escape my chest. I wanted to look back, but I didn't. I could end single quotes T.by the time I reached the station. The sky had turned gray. I sat on a bench, the suitcase by my feet, and exhaled a shaky breath. My phone buzzed, Mom's name flashing. I answered. Come home, she said flatly. You're embarrassing us. Then maybe you shouldn't have chosen them over me. You think the world owes you something, she hissed. You'll regret this, maybe, I said quietly, but at least I'll regret it on my own terms. She hung up. I took the next train out. No plan, no destination, just away. Days blurred into one another. I found a small apartment that smelled like dust and loneliness. The ceiling leaked when it rained. The heater rattled at night, but it was mine. T work. I kept my head down. I took shifts no one wanted, smiled when customers yelled, nodded when managers frowned. I came home too tired to think, and yet, in the silence, something unfamiliar grew inside me. Peace. No one shouted. No one compared. No one told me I wasn't enough. Sometimes I'd sit by the window, watching city lights flicker like distant stars and whisper, I'm still here. The pain didn't vanish, but it sharpened into something steadier. Determination. I started reading again, saving money, planning classes I couldn't afford yet. Each small act felt like a step out of the fog. One night, I caught my reflection in the window, tired eyes, messy hair, but alive. I whispered to her, you made it out. And for the first time, she smiled back. You're late, Miranda said the first time I walked into her office. Her tone was sharp enough to cut glass. I missed the bus, I said quickly. It won't happen again. She looked me up and down. It better not. I don't keep people who waste time. Something in her voice lit a spark in me. Fear, yes, but also something stronger. Respect. I understand, I said. I'll prove myself. Her lips curved. Good. I like ambition more than excuses. That was the beginning. Weeks turned into months, and I threw myself into work like it was oxygen. Miranda never handed out praise, but when she nodded after a presentation, it meant more than any compliment I'd ever heard. One evening, as we stayed late reviewing reports, she said, "You don't talk much about your past." "There's not much to say," I replied, eyes fixed on the screen. "There's always something to say," she countered. "People who work like you do aren't born that way. They're made." I hesitated. "Let's just say I learned that no one's coming to save me." She smiled faintly. "Good, then you'll go far. Weak people wait to be rescued. Strong ones rescue themselves." Her words stuck with me long after the lights went out. The next morning, I stared at my reflection, shorter hair, subtle makeup, a new suit I'd bought with my first real paycheck. For the first time, I didn't look like the girl who'd left home crying. I looked like someone who could survive. A tea lunch, a co-worker named Ben teased, "You work like you're running from something." I smiled. "Maybe I'm running towards something." Miranda overheard and laughed. "That's the right answer." Every challenge she threw at me, I met it head-on. Client meetings, negotiations, late nights that bled into dawn. There were moments I wanted to give up, moments the old me would have broken down. But every time I faltered, I heard Miranda's voice in my head. "No one saves you. You rise yourself." One night, after a successful deal, she poured 2 glasses of wine. "You did good today." "Good?" I repeated, half smiling. "You mean great." She raised her glass. "Careful. Confidence looks good on you. Don't let it turn into arrogance." I clinked mine against hers. "Noted." She leaned back. "Tell me, what do you want really?" "I want to stop being someone people forget," I said quietly. "I want to walk into a room and make them remember." Miranda's eyes softened, just a little. "Then keep that fire. Most people lose it once they're comfortable. Promise me, you won't." "I won't," I said, meaning it. Later that night, as I walked home under the city lights, I realized something. I wasn't chasing approval anymore. I wasn't trying to be seen. I was becoming someone who didn't need anyone's permission to exist. Someone who burned and never apologized for the flames. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Miranda asked as the car pulled up to the hotel. "I've waited 2 years," I said. "I'm ready." She smirked. "Then walk in there like you own the place." The doors opened, and light spilled over the marble floor. My heels clicked against it, steady, certain. Conversations quieted as I entered. Ethan's company logo glowed on the banner above the stage. His world, the one I used to dream about being part of. Now, I was here on behalf of Miranda's firm, a client they couldn't afford to lose. I felt their eyes before I saw them, my parents, standing near the buffet. Mom's hand froze around her wine glass. Dad's smile faltered. Lily turned first. Her hair was shorter now, styled, but lifeless. The spark that once made her untouchable had dimmed. She clutched Ethan's arm tightly, as if afraid he'd drift away, and Ethan, the man who once said I was everything he wanted, looked like he'd seen a ghost. "Excuse me," I said to Miranda, forcing a calm smile. "I think I'll say hello." She nodded. "Don't burn the building down." "I make no promises." I crossed the room slowly. The sound of my heels filled the silence between us. When I stopped in front of them, no one spoke for a heartbeat too long. "Hi," I said lightly. "It's been a while." Mom's voice broke first. "You look different." "I'd hope so," I replied. 2 years does that." Dad cleared his throat. "We didn't expect." "I know," I said. "You never do." Ethan's voice was softer than I remembered. "You're working for Miranda Brooks?" "Yes," I said. "I'm leading the partnership negotiations." Lily's grip on his arm tightened. "You, in charge?" Surprised, I tilted my head. "You shouldn't be." Her eyes flickered with something sharp, jealousy, maybe fear. "Well, good for you," she said too sweetly. "Thanks," I replied. "You too." "How's the marriage?" Ethan shifted uncomfortably. "We're fine." "Good," I said. "You always wanted stability." Lily's voice cracked. "You think you're better than us now?" "No," I said calmly. "I just stopped believing I was less." Mom whispered. "We tried to call you." "I know," I said. But I stopped answering to voices that only spoke when it was convenient. The silence that followed was heavy. I almost felt pity. "Almost." Ethan finally said, "You look happy." "I am," I said. Happier than I've ever been. I turned slightly toward Miranda, who watched from across the room like a proud general. I should get back. Work calls. As I walked away, I heard Lily's voice, low and brittle. She's changed. Ethan's reply was barely audible. No, she finally became who she was meant to be. I didn't look back. The old me would have crumbled under their gaze, but tonight, I didn't need their approval. Tonight, I was the storm they never saw coming. Can we talk? Ethan's voice stopped me near the ballroom exit. I turned slowly, holding my glass steady. About business or the past? His jaw tightened. Both, maybe. Pick one, I said. I charge by the hour now. He gave a short, humorless laugh. You've changed. I had to, I replied. Some of us don't get to stay comfortable. He shifted closer. I didn't mean for things to happen like they did. Didn't mean to fall for my sister? I asked. Or didn't mean for me to find out. Lily was lonely, he muttered. Lonely? I almost laughed. She had a house full of people worshipping her. You just liked being worshipped too. His face fell. I made a mistake. Yes, I said softly. And now you get to live with it. Before he could answer, Lily appeared beside him, a perfect smile plastered on her face. There you are, she said sweetly. I was wondering where you'd wandered off to. I was saying hello, I replied, returning the same practiced smile. It's been a long time. She looped her arm through Ethan's. Yes, but we've all moved on, haven't we? Of course, I said. Some of us just moved a little higher. Her smile twitched. I heard you work under Miranda Brooks. Must be exhausting keeping up with her. She's demanding, I said, but she rewards competence. It's a fair trade. Ethan glanced between us, uneasy. Let's not make this awkward. It's not awkward, I said, keeping my tone light. I'm just being polite. Lily leaned closer. Polite? You always were so good at pretending things. Didn't bother you. I met her gaze. And you were always good at pretending to care. For a moment, the air froze between us. Then I smiled again, letting silence sting harder than any insult. From the nearby table, I caught snippets of murmurs. That's her. The sister they ignored? She works for Brooks now. Lily heard them too. Her hand tightened on Ethan's sleeve. You seem to be enjoying the attention. I'm not the one who needs it anymore, I said quietly. Ethan exhaled. We should go, Lily. Yes, she said through her teeth. Let's. As they walked away, I turned to a woman from the board who'd been watching. Old acquaintances, I explained casually. The woman smiled. Funny how life flips the script. Everyone's talking about you tonight. I noticed, I said, sipping my drink. Justice has good timing. Later, Miranda joined me by the balcony. You handled that beautifully, she said. Years of practice, I replied. You don't need revenge, she added. You already won. I looked through the glass doors, where Lily's laughter rang hollow. It's not about winning, I said. It's about remembering who I became when they stopped seeing me. Miranda nodded. Then let them look now. I smiled. Oh, they already are. Did you hear? Ben whispered, as we reviewed the quarterly report. Brooks and Hale just withdrew their partnership with Ethan's firm. I didn't look up. I heard. That's the third this month, he said. You sure you don't want to step in? I smiled faintly. No, some lessons don't need my help. He gave me a look. You're enjoying this. Not enjoying, I said. Just observing. By the end of the week, Ethan called. I let it ring twice before answering. Hello? His voice was tense. You pulled your account. Yes. Why? It wasn't personal, I said evenly. Your numbers were slipping. He exhaled sharply. You could have warned me. I warned you years ago, I replied. You just weren't listening. Silence stretched. Then a quiet, broken, I miss how simple things were. Things were never simple, I said. You just didn't see the cracks. He didn't argue. He didn't have to. 2 days later, I ran into Lily at a cafe downtown. Her once flawless makeup couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes. You look busy, she said, forcing a smile. Still playing boss? I manage, I replied. You? She hesitated. People change. Friends drift. Or leave when the attention does, I said softly. Her lips trembled. You think you're better than me now? No, I said. Just finally enough for myself. She laughed weakly. Ethan's been impossible lately. Stressed. Snapping at everyone. Maybe you're happy now, watching us fall apart. I didn't need to watch, I said quietly. You were already breaking. Her voice cracked. Do you ever forgive? Forgiveness isn't something you ask for, I said. It's something you earn. When she left, I sat there for a while, stirring cold coffee I didn't drink. For a moment, I almost felt sorry. Almost. Later that week, my mother called. Her tone was heavy. We're not doing well, she admitted. Your father, he's embarrassed. People talk. They always talked, I said. You just cared when the words stopped flattering you. Please, she whispered. Don't be cruel. I'm not, I said softly. I just stopped pretending we were a family. She began to cry, and for a heartbeat, I felt that old ache again, the need to comfort, to fix, to belong. But I didn't speak. I just listened, like a stranger would. When she hung up, I stared at the ceiling of my apartment. The silence felt different now, not empty, just still. Karma didn't come with thunder or fire. It came quietly, in whispers, in slow unravelings. Their world cracked the same way mine once had, but unlike me, they didn't know how to rebuild. And though I told myself I felt nothing, a small part of me still longed not for revenge, but for the love that never came, even when I finally deserved it. The rain had just started when I stepped out of the office. The street was almost empty, except for one figure standing by the curb. Ethan? He turned toward me, drenched, hands shoved deep in his pockets. I waited. For what? I asked. An apology? Or forgiveness? His voice cracked. Both, maybe. I crossed my arms. You picked a bad night for redemption. I didn't know where else to go, he said quietly. Lily's gone. She left last week. I didn't flinch. And she took what was left of my savings. Said she needed to find herself. My parents don't even answer my calls anymore. So you came to me, I said. The one person you made sure to destroy. He stepped closer, water dripping from his hair. I didn't mean to hurt you. Stop saying that, I cut in. You always say you didn't mean it. You just never meant for me to find out, he winced. You think I haven't paid for it? Every day. I lost your comfort? I interrupted. Your perfect life? That's not punishment. That's consequence. He looked up, eyes hollow. You used to believe in second chances. I used to believe in a lot of things, I said softly. You cured me of that. The wind picked up, blowing rain between us. He looked smaller now, not the confident man I'd once loved, but a shadow of him. I made a mistake, he said again, desperation leaking through every word. You were the one. You still are. I stared at him, my heart strangely steady. No, Ethan, I wasn't the one. I was the test. You failed. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. You chose her, I continued. You chose to lie. You chose to watch me walk away because it was easier than facing what you'd done. He swallowed hard. I thought she needed me. And I didn't? I asked. You wanted to be a savior, not a partner. I loved you, he said weakly. No, I whispered. You loved the way I made you feel. There's a difference. For a long moment, we just stood there, rain pouring between us like a curtain. I keep thinking, he said, voice shaking. If I'd just waited, if I'd just trusted you, you didn't, I said. And that's the truth you have to live with. He took a step forward. Can't we start over? I almost laughed. Start over? You buried me, Ethan. I had to build myself from the ashes. There's no space for you in the life that rose from that fire. His shoulders slumped. Then this is it? This was it years ago, I said. He looked at me one last time the way a drowning man looks at the shore he'll never reach. You didn't make a mistake, I told him quietly. You made a choice. Then I walked away, leaving the rain to wash him clean or not at all. The call came on a Sunday morning. My phone buzzed against the counter while I was making coffee. The number was familiar, but it took me a moment to recognize it. Hello? A shaky breath. It's me, my mother said. I froze. What do you need? Her voice wavered. I just wanted to talk. It's been 2 years, I said quietly. Now you want to talk? I know, she whispered. We were wrong. The words hit me harder than I expected. For years I'd imagined hearing them, but now, they felt hollow, too late. I forced a breath. What exactly were you wrong about? You, she said. And Lily, we should have protected you. We should have believed you. In the background, I heard Dad's voice, low and hesitant. Tell her I said hello. I swallowed. He can tell me himself. Silence stretched. Then she said, he's ashamed. We both are. I leaned against the counter, the warmth of the mug grounding me. Shame doesn't undo what you did. I know, she said softly. But we've lost so much since you left. Lily moved abroad. She doesn't call. Ethan, I don't need updates, I interrupted. You don't have to justify regret. Her breath hitched. I'm not. I just want you to know we're trying. Trying what? I asked. To remember I exist? Please don't be cruel, she said weakly. You are always the kind one. I almost laughed. You mistook silence for kindness, Mom. I wasn't kind, I was scared. Her voice cracked. I never meant to make you feel that way. You didn't mean to, I said. But you did. There was a pause, then a faint sob. Do you hate us? I stared out the window. The city was alive, people laughing, cars honking, life moving forward. No, I said finally. I don't hate you. I stopped feeling enough to hate. I just wish we could start over. You can't start over when you never started right, I said softly. Dad's voice came through the receiver, faint but clear. We miss you. I closed my eyes. You miss the version of me who stayed quiet. That's not true, he said. It is, I replied. But it's okay. I understand now. Understand what? Mom asked. That some people love the idea of you, not the real you. She cried softly. Can we see you? Just once? I hesitated. My heart ached. But the answer was simple. Not yet. Maybe someday, she whispered. I hope you're doing well. I smiled faintly. I hope you are too. When the call ended, I stood in silence, the echo of her words fading into the hum of the city. It wasn't closure. It wasn't forgiveness. But it was enough, because for the first time, I wasn't the girl begging to be loved. I was the woman who no longer needed to be. You're really leaving? Ben asked as I packed the last box from my apartment. Yeah, I said, taping it shut. Promotion came through. New city, new start. He leaned against the doorway. You make it sound easy. It's not, I admitted. But it's necessary. He smiled faintly. You'll forget all of us when you become some big executive. I grinned. Unlikely. You're too annoying to forget. The train ride to the new city felt like shedding old skin. When I stepped off the platform, the air smelled different, cleaner, braver. My new office overlooked the skyline. Miranda had arranged the transfer herself. You earned this, she said during our last call. Don't downplay it. I'll try, I told her. She laughed. Don't try, do. The team I managed was small but sharp. They respected me not out of obligation, but because I delivered. One afternoon, during lunch, my assistant, Claire, peeked into my office. You never talk about where you're from, she said. Nothing much to tell, I replied. Just a place I outgrew. She smiled. Then I guess you're exactly where you're supposed to be. That night, I unpacked a box labeled personal. Inside was an old sketchbook, the one I'd hidden years ago when everything fell apart. My fingers hesitated over the worn cover before opening it. The drawings were shaky, unfinished. The last page was a half-finished portrait of me. I laughed softly. Guess it's time to finish what I started. I went out the next day and bought paints, brushes, and a canvas. The smell of acrylic filled the apartment as I began to paint again. Hours slipped away unnoticed. Every stroke felt like breathing, slow, deliberate, alive. When I stepped back, I didn't see the broken girl I used to be. I saw someone new, someone stronger. Later, Claire stopped by to drop off a file. Wow, she said, spotting the painting. That's incredible. Thanks, I said quietly. Who is she? I smiled. Someone I used to know. She looked confused but nodded. Whoever she is, she looks fearless. After she left, I stared at the painting again. Fearless. Maybe that was the right word. That night, I sat on the balcony, watching the city lights. My phone buzzed, another message from my mother. We hope you're doing okay. I didn't reply. Not out of anger, but peace. I whispered to the wind, I am, because for the first time, I truly was. I wasn't running anymore, not from pain, not from memories. I had built something on my own, brick by brick, without needing anyone's permission. The woman I'd become wasn't a product of love or luck. She was forged in silence, shaped by betrayal, and reborn in freedom. And as I looked at the skyline, I realized I hadn't just moved cities. I'd moved into myself. Are you nervous? Claire asked as our car pulled up to the gala. Not at all, I said, adjusting my bracelet. Just curious how it feels to walk through ghosts. The hotel was glittering with chandeliers and polite laughter. Cameras flashed as I stepped out. People whispered, that's her, the one from Brooks & Co. inside. I spotted them instantly, my parents near the stage, Lily beside them, Ethan lingering a few steps behind. Time hadn't been kind to any of them. Claire leaned close. Is that who I think it is? Yes, I said. And tonight, They'll think about me for the rest of their lives. I walked across the room, every step measured. My dress caught the light like liquid glass, and for once, I didn't shrink under anyone's gaze. I owned it. Mom's jaw dropped. You came. Of course, I said. Wouldn't miss supporting the community. Dad tried for a smile. You look successful. I am, I replied simply. Lily forced a laugh. Well, you always did know how to make an entrance. Better late than never, I said. How's life abroad? Her smile faltered. Not as glamorous as people think. I tilted my head. It rarely is when it's built on someone else's story. Ethan finally spoke. You look incredible. Thank you, I said. I see you've survived. He exhaled. Barely. Survival's a start, I said coolly. Lily crossed her arms. You came here to gloat? I smiled softly. I came to donate. Claire handed me the envelope, and I turned toward the host. A contribution from Brooks & Co., I said. For future female entrepreneurs. The applause was warm, sincere, everything their praise had never been. When I turned back, Ethan was watching me, guilt carving lines into his face. You're really not angry anymore, are you? He asked quietly. I looked at him, calm and distant. Anger takes energy. I've learned to spend mine elsewhere. I think about you, he said. Every day. I'm sure you do, I replied. Regret makes a loyal companion. He flinched. You don't forgive easily. I forgave myself first, I said. That was enough. Mom touched my arm gently. We're proud of you, she whispered. I met her eyes. You're proud now that others are watching. She didn't deny it. I stepped back, smiling politely. Enjoy the evening. As I moved away, I heard the whispers again, admiration, envy, Not one of them remembered the girl who once begged to be seen. I caught my reflection in a mirror near the exit. Confident, composed, untouchable, Claire joined me. You handled that like a queen. I wasn't here to fight, I said softly. I was here to close the door. Think they'll ever stop talking about you? I smiled. They ignored me once. They'll never make that mistake again. And as I walked into the night, I realized the greatest revenge was being unforgettable.